right, I know that two girls in my morning class were struggling with one of the division problems, and they asked me to do a problem. Now I can't remember which one I told them I would do, but I think it was number 7. I'm hoping it was number 7. I know we did number 8 in class, and then I was helping people at the back table on number 4. On number 4, there's 2 different ways to do number 4. You can divide $558.90 by 9, get your answer, and then divide that answer by 6, or you can do 9 times 6 and get 54, and then divide $558.90 by 54. So whichever way you find easier, that's how you do number 4. So I don't think it was number 4 they asked me. I'm thinking it was 7. So I'm going to do number 7. Nico works at a fast food restaurant. He worked a total of 132 hours in 4 weeks. He worked 6 days per week. If Nico worked the same number of hours per day, how many hours did he work each day? So, first of all, we're going to figure out how in 4 weeks he worked a total of 132 hours. So I'm going to first figure out how many hours he worked in 1 week. And to do that, I'm going to divide 132 by 4. So let me get my paper here, sorry. So I'm going to do 132 divided by 4. And again, every number inside the box needs a digit above it, even if it's 0. And we divide, multiply, subtract, check, and bring down. All right, 4. How many 4s are in 1? 0. How many 4s are in 13? There are 3. Now we multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. Now we subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. Now we check. 1 is less than 4. And next we bring down. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So 3 times 4 is 12. My remainder is 0. So in 1 week, he works 33 hours. Now, he works 6 days per week. So we're going to find out how many days he works how many hours he works each day. Well, this represents 6 days. So I'm going to divide this by 6. And again, every number inside the box has a digit above it. Now, 3 cannot go into 6. 6 cannot go into 3. You can't get any 6s out of 3. 6 goes into 33 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. 33 minus 30 is 3. Now, that is our remainder. There are no other digits to bring down. You can do this one of 2 ways. First of all, make your fraction 3 over 6. Then you've got to simplify it. Always look to see if you can simplify your fraction. You should know that if you multiply times 2, 3 times 2 is 6, that fraction is equal to 1/2. Y'all should know that by now. But if you don't, you can factor out your 3's. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Factor out your 3's. So your answer is 5 1/2. And I hope against hope, you know 1/2 is equal to 5/10. 1/2 is equal to 2 times 5. 1 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. And 5/10 is equal to 5/10. Fractions and decimals are the same thing. Oh, sorry, y'all didn't see all that. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. And then 5/10 is 5/10. We, hopefully you know that this is a benchmark fraction. 1/2 is a benchmark. So 5 and 3, 6. which is 5 1/2, which is 5 5/10, which is 5 5/10. This is your answer right here. And so to bubble it in, you're going to put 5 5/10, just like that. Your ones digit, your decimal point, your tenths digit. Now, to check it, you're going to multiply. So I've got 5 5/10 times 6 days. So this is how many hours I work in one day. So I'm going to multiply it by 6 to get in a week. Carry your 3. 30 plus 3 is 33 hours in 1 week. So far, so good. That's what we got. And now I've got to multiply this. Oh, here's my decimal. 1 decimal place here. Don't forget, it's not 330. That's where my decimal place goes. And now I'm going to multiply that times 33 to check my work. Okay. Here I did 6 times 5 5/10. 6 times 5 is 30. Put down my 0, carry my 3. 6 times 5 is 30, plus my carried 3 is 33. I have 1 decimal in my problem, so I'm going to have 1 in my answer. This is a whole number. It does not have a decimal number, a decimal digit. So I just have the 5/10. So I start at the end and I move over 1 spot. That's where my decimal is. Now I'm going to do 4 times 33. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry your 1. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 132. And that is your answer. And I'm hoping that's the one. Now, wait, before you leave, I want to talk to you about these benchmark fractions that I hope that are starting to ring a bell with you. You have benchmark fractions. There are 3 very important you must know, and then there are 3 that you kind of need, you really need to know. Most important benchmark fraction is 1/2. That's where you decide if you round up or down. If you get to 1/2, you got to round up. And 1/2 is equal to 5/10. And 1/2 is equal to 5/10. And 1/2 is equal to 50 out of 100. And 1/2 is equal to 500 out of 1,000. And 1/2 is equal to 50 out of 100. And 1/2 is equal to 500 out of 1,000. And on and on and on. So that is your most important benchmark fraction. But second in line is 1/4. And to figure out 1/4, now 1/4 cannot go into 10 evenly. You can't go 4 times 2 is 10 because it's not. But you can do 100. 4 times 25, and I've told y'all all year, think about money. There are 4 quarters in a dollar, and a quarter is 1/4 of a dollar. So 1 times 25 is 25 hundredths. 1/4 is 25 out of 100, and that is equal to 25 hundredths. And then the third most important benchmark fraction, well, 2/4, 2 quarters out of a dollar, but that's 1/2. 2/4 is 1/2 because you simplify 2/4 to 1/2. And then, so next we have 3/4. And to equal 100, 4 times 25, 3 times 25, you get 75 hundredths. Now, a couple of others that are important, of course, 1/10 is 1/10, and that's like 1 dime. So 1/10 is 1/10. It's also 10 hundredths. It's also 10 out of 100, and it's also 100 out of 1,000. So those trailing zeros, if you add them upstairs, you have to add 1 downstairs. So 1/10 is also very important. And then there's always the tenths. Every tenth is important. So 2/10 is equal to, let me put 2/10 like this, is equal to 2 out of 10, which is equal to, when you simplify it, 2 is like 2 times 1, 10 is 2 times 5, and then you factor out your 2's, and so 2/10 is 2/10, and that is 1/5. And then 3/10 can't be simplified. It is already just 3/10. But 4/10, anytime you have an even number with your tenths, it can be simplified to a fifth. So 4/10, and then 4 is like 2 times 2, and 10 is like 2 times 5, and then we factor out our 2's, our common 2's, and 4/10 is 2/5, and then 5/10, we've already done 5/10 to death, but I can do it again. 5/10, 5 times 1, 5 times 2 is equal to 1/2. And then I'll come up here and do 6/10, and that is like 6 times, oh, sorry, messed up. 6/10, that is like 2 times 3 and 2 times 5, so it is 6/10 is 3/5. And then 8/10, I'm not going to do 7/10, it's simplified, so is 9/10. But 8/10 is equal to 8/10, and that is equal to 2 times 4 and 2 times 5. Factor out your 2's, and it is equal to 4/5. So thank you for listening to stuff you didn't actually have to do for this homework or this division work, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. I hope I did the right hard problem.